Hello, friends. Welcome to Nirmal. I'm Piyush Jain, and today we are bringing to you a new company which is going to get listed very soon on the bourses. There is an IPO coming up your way. The name of the company is Updater Services Limited (UDS), popularly known as. And joining me today on the show is the management, Mr. Raghu Tangirala, Chairman and Managing Director, and Mr. Balaji Swaminathan, Chief Financial Officer of the company. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Um, Raghu sir, let's first start with you, and we'll try to start with the most basic question. Let's try and understand how has been the journey, how this company was being formed, and why basically you came up with this idea.
Okay, I'll start for the last question you asked. I came up with the idea because I wanted to be in business which can be scaled without much of a capital intensive thing. So, hence services. Two, I wanted to be in a space which was not crowded. Because way back in 90 when I started, this business was not there. In the sense, there was no organized player. It
Organized,
was
yes.
splintered, piecemeal. There's no organized player offering facilities management services. So hence that was the idea. One was I wanted to be in a business where it's not a business which could be scaled because I started from zero. Today we do about 2,000 crores. So hence that's the idea of getting into this business. When I started this in 90, like I told you, since there were no organized players, it was tough to establish as a concept. And also it was tough, like offering all services to the customer. In those days, it was like, they don't want to put all the eggs in one basket. So that's what it is. It took my time. And then with the IT boom, we really started building up scale. And with that, we started building up geography. What I mean is we were a pan-India presence by then and could offer a complete integrated facilities management services, which means soft services, hard services, engineering, support services, all the services what a facility requires. Today we service more than 200 million square feet of space. Includes IT parks, commercial, healthcare, hospitality, infrastructure like airports. We are the largest in terms of, when I started, I was the biggest in sense because there was no other player. Even today, we are the largest. So that's the journey so far. And last 5 years, we've started building 7 years. We started building a business services platform where we added lots of other business services, which are all B2B. And the idea was to go to the customer, offer it as a platform and more than one service. Also, what happens, business services are much more profitable than facilities management. So, it blends well. Also, the customer stickiness improves more. So this is what we are today. And I can
Right.
explain the services little later.
Okay. Sure. And from the perspective of geographic expansion, sir, again, Raghu sir, is that something where the company is working almost in every part of India or every major state of India?
Every state, any part of India, we operate. We operate in 4,000 locations. When we say locations, I need not have
That's
offices
humongous.
there. Yeah, we offer the services. Yeah, that's humongous.
Okay.
Yes.
And when you're talking about business services, like one is facilities management, and in that basically you actually develop close relationship with your clients. And when you actually enter into business services, what different types of wallet share you actually are now taking from the customer? When I say wallet share,
Um,
implies what different types of services you are giving.
Absolutely. I'll explain to you that. In the business services, we have one is the audit and assurance business, which is basically not financial audit, audit of stock, audit of supply chain, retail audit, basically for FMCG. That is one line of business in one of the companies we have. And they also do employee background verification, which is a regular employee background verification
Also,
on.
you basically have entered into HR. That is temporary or permanent or both?
No, no, no. This is basically employee background verification for my
Okay,
customer. So what the
sure.
background is, we do the identity background verification, education, past employment, antecedents, criminal, police records, there's a full range of employee background verification.
Okay.
These are the two business services in one of the companies. And then two other companies we have where it's a B2B and a B2B2C sales enablement business. Namely Denave, which does sales enablement, generate leads for companies. And another company called Athena, which generates leads for the banking and insurance. They also now start doing for other industries other than banking. Then we have a airport ground handling business, where we have 21 airports as a concessionaire. We have the first 5 airports we started operational. First one being Pune. So airport ground handling is anything in the airport when the aircraft lands. We see everything to be done at the airside and until the plane takes
Oh,
off. I mean,
that's a very motive business. I understand that business. So,
yeah,
who are your major clients in terms of airport ground handling business? Like,
I
because
think
there are like we can count on names in terms of airport operators.
absolutely. Now these airports, we have got an exclusive concession. We are the single player, but for one airport, which is Pune, we have two players. I mean, the concession is a 10-year concession. In Pune, we have two concessionaires. In all the other airports, we are single. So all the any airline landing there has to take our services. In Pune, we have a 90% market share. All the airlines which land there, like, for example, are our customers.
And in this, you are signing contracts directly with the airport operators. For example, there could be GMR Airport or there could be Adani Airport. You're signing contracts with them.
Absolutely, they are the airport owners. In this case, so far, all our airports are airport authority airports,
Pardon, sir, all airports?
are owned by Airport Authority of India. I have
Okay,
not signed with Adani or GMR.
okay. So apart from Pune, are these all tier 2, tier 3 airports?
Yes, all are type 2, type 3.
Yeah,
Pune,
because as soon as you said AI, then I just started imagining apart from Chennai, these would be tier 2, tier 3.
absolutely right. We have Patna, we have Vizag, we have Raipur, we
Surat.
have Surat, and then a host of another tier 3 airports like Ayodhya, Tirupati, all that. They're all yet to be operational. They'll all happen in the next 1 quarter or 2 quarters. These 5 airports, first 5 airports, we are already operational.
And this is a separate company. This is a separate ground handling company.
Yes, it's called global ground handling.
Okay, very nice, very nice. And
So that's
I
one.
want to come back to, please, you are saying something.
That's one of the business services. Then we have a food services business where we do institutional catering, where industrial catering, and then we have a mailroom business with just niche logistics. So these are all the business services.
Oh, yes. So you actually have entered into different segments of the customer. But I want to come back on the banking and assurance, and I want to understand what that company does.
That is audit and assurance. It's not banking.
Okay.
What we do is like we do the complete supply chain audit, basically for FMCG, right from stock audit, from warehouse to warehouse depot up to the retail, and we also do a transaction processing for FMCG between distributors, dealers, and the company. We do not only in India, we do for 9 other countries outside
Oh,
of India.
interesting.
Yeah, we do the claims processing for them, and we do it in India.
And these
It's
9 countries are in Africa or in Asia?
all the Middle East and Asia, we do it. And now we're getting into Europe. This for one customer.
That's
Okay, the
very
name is
interesting.
PNG.
Kindly name the Middle East country where you are present.
We are the complete Middle East, entire all the countries, because I'll tell you the customer name is PNG. So we do the
Uh,
complete outsource. They outsource the complete claims, and PNG outsources. We do for that. Now we'll add more customers. In India, we do for many. Now we do for entire Middle East, all countries, including Saudi.
Understood. I want to now come to Mr. Balaji, but before that, I'm tempted to ask you one follow-up question because this is interesting, and I think our viewers should take note of that. That you have different sort of pillars of growth for the future. You are actually looking to grab more wallet share of the customers, and this all actually bodes well for the company. One small follow-up question, Raghu sir, before I go on the financials to Mr. Balaji, and that one small question would be: were these all bolt-on acquisitions? Like this is the way you have built on capabilities because building by own for a first generation company it becomes tough. So were these acquisitions?
Absolutely, all the business services are acquisitions.
Hmm. Okay.
So that's how we did it, because we just can't develop these skill sets. And
Of
one more
course,
thing, I
of
need to
course.
tell you, yeah, and
Of
one more
course.
thing I'll tell you, all our businesses, we are either number, I mean, most of it, we are number one. That means we are market leaders, like the facilities management or employee background verification, audit and assurance, sales enablement, food services. In everything, we are either number one, two, or three. In mostly, we are number one in all these services. So they're all market leaders.
Well, I'm definitely interested in knowing more. And now let me ask the slightly complex questions to Mr. Balaji here. Mr. Balaji, how's the working capital being managed across the different services? Are these all companies running independently, handling their own financial requirements? Help us understand.
Okay. So look, the businesses are pretty much into separate entities which are there, right? And the pretty much the IFM is a larger piece that comes in the UDS standalone. Otherwise, for all other business services, each of the services are done by a separate entity. And within those entities we have the working capital which is being managed independently in those, but we have a oversight from the holding company in respect of how the company is run, and also in terms of controls, and also the kind of cash flows and everything is being reviewed from here.
So is there any company which is currently having negative cash flow and is requiring working capital support?
That is the global is the only one entity where it is in the startup stage as of now, which is a ground handling
Mhm.
business, because we have started about 1.5 years back. We started with Pune, and Pune is sustainable, and other airports will automatic. So initial 1.5 year they would need a support, and then it would move in. So otherwise, all other entities are self sufficient and they are sitting on cash. So that is also the reason why when you look at the net debt at the group level, so it is only about 12 crores as at 31st March 2023, whereas my gross debt is about 174, which is sitting in UDS, and the balance 160 cash is sitting across the subsidiaries.
Okay. But yeah, and this debt is also distributed among subsidiaries, or it is at the holding company level?
No, no, the debt is only at the holding company level.
So debt is at the holding company level, but the cash is distributed across subsidiaries. So, how are you going to use the funds that you're raising from IPO? Give us some color on what is the amount you're raising from the IPO, and what is the fund usage for that?
Yeah, so the primary is 400 crores. So out of this 400 crores, 133 crores that we would be using for retiring the debt at the holding level, which is UDS. And another 115 crores is what we are looking at for the future requirement of working capital, augmentation of working capital for the future growth. That is also in UDS, right? And apart from this, 80 crores is earmarked as a blind pool. This is more to support the acquisitions that we need to do, but though we do not have any targets as of now, so it is kept as a blind pool, and the balance 72 is for the general corporate purposes.
Okay, I understood. So, the total debt, please correct me if the number I'm remembering is wrong. The total gross debt was 164 CR, sir, right?
174. So out of which
One,
133 will get retired based
right.
from the profits, and the balance, I think, because the business is also throwing cash, so from there that also will get paid off over
Yeah,
the
like,
course of it.
having some debt is not bad. So even if you're having 44 CR, and what was the total? Was there a free cash flow last year?
Yes, we had from operations. Yes, we had a free cash flow. Look, the way it is happening is because we have utilized our internal accruals for the acquisitions that we have paid. So if you look at, so we have paid almost about 200 crores in the last 3 to 4 years, right? So where the internal accruals have got used into. So as a judicial thing, then for the working capital that we need to take a funding. So that is where the working capital funding has come in from the banks.
Right, right. And help us understand about the financials, sir, for the last year, because it appears there was a dip in the EBITDA margin. So help us understand what happened last year, because revenue growth was phenomenal. Like, you almost jumped by 45-50% in the revenue. Marginal dip in the EBITDA. Was there some sort of business mix which impacted? Help us understand that. And even if I'm looking at the PAT numbers, those actually had shown growth. So just help us understand the last 12 months.
Sure. So, first on the top line, in FY22, we did about 1,500 crores, right? 1,483. And from there, it has moved up to 2,100 crores. So, there is a growth on the top line. And on the profitability, reported profits, EBITDA that you look at, so there is a minor decline. So, whereas if you look at the adjusted EBITDA that we have reported, which has moved from 108 crores in FY22 to
140.
145 crores in FY,
Yeah.
yeah, 145 45 crores in FY23, right? And the reported to versus EBITDA, adjusted EBITDA, the adjustment is fairly because of the fair value adjustment, which is also there as a separate line on the financials that we have presented. And this is more of a capital nature because I'll just explain you why this is coming up. Because when we are doing an acquisition, right, so we have a 100% commitment to acquire, right? So in that sense, on the day of the acquisition, we estimate what would be the outflow that we need to make for that acquisition, and based on which we recognize the liability, right? And that liability is based on a particular assumption how these subsidiaries would perform go forward, because the way we do the acquisitions are over a period of time. We only take majority in the first year, and the balance is taken acquired in the next 2 to 3 years based on the EBITDA that they achieve. It is an earn-out model. So what has happened here is the subsidiaries that we have acquired have performed well, more than what they were expected in the initial stage, because of which there is a additional payout that is coming in, additional liability to the promoters. When I do that fair value, because I've already crystallized my investment in the year of acquisition, this passes through the P&L. So that you would see about 42 crores of debit that is there in the P&L. If I were to adjust that 42 crores and then look at, then my EBITDA has moved from 108 to 145. So I actually, it is a growth, right? And similarly, the same will flow through into the PAT as well, because PAT being a gap matter, a gap defined, so we will not be able to give an adjusted PAT for it. But EBITDA being a non-gap item, we are able to explain the difference why. So this particular perspective has to be looked at when someone looks at our profitability and the performance.
Yeah,
Right.
just
So,
to add to what Balaji said, it's basically capital in nature, but we are treating it as a P&L item because that's what the Ind AS policy or the Ind AS treatment is.
right. So just to simplify for our viewers, to recap it, largely the fair value adjustment is happening because of assets or because of the EBITDA in nature.
Because of the subsidiaries that whom we have acquired, right? So for example, say Denave, so initially I have taken about say 54% of their equity. So balance 46 I would take it over next 2 years. So initially when I estimate, assuming they would do say 10 crores of EBITDA, right? But now if they are doing based on the 10 crores, I have valued what would be the total outflow that I would get, and I have already recognized a liability in the first year. Say assuming that is about say 25 crores, right? But if this company is performing better than 10, so they do say 12 crores, then for the 2 crores I have to pay additional payout to them, because my agreement is to pay them on the EBITDA that they have achieved, right? So then this 25 tends to become say 22, 27 or 28. So that 3 rupees differential what is there with respect to the balance stake which is there, so that passes through the P&L. So that is the reason why this debit is coming in. Actually, this is more like an investment. Ideally, in the old standards, this should have got added to the investment itself rather than
Yeah,
moving.
it should have gone the balance sheet. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Understood. Now, looking from the perspective of return on equity, return on capital employed, uh, fair to say that perhaps next year the ROEs could be jumping up because your treatment is already over in the last years, because the both ROE and ROC actually were looking strong double digits for the last 2 years before 2023. Uh, Largely it was for this adjustment. Like, what happened there?
No, the ROCE of 24% that is presented there is the based on the adjusted EBITDA, adjusted
Right.
EBIT rather. So which already takes care of this 42 being added back. Otherwise, the reported is about 14%, right? So
Right.
this 24, why when you see from last year there is a dip. So last year it's about 26 and now it is becoming 24. The reason is being when you add up any new acquisition, your capital employed goes up, and your profitability
It
is
takes
only so
time.
that
It takes time to
yeah,
spread the assets.
that's right. That's right.
Absolutely.
And of course,
Understandable.
once
But I think our viewers should take note of this fact that the return capital employed is actually 20% plus, and that is something which is absolutely liked by the markets. So perhaps that is something which is good and interesting. Um, Perhaps as we move towards our last one or two questions, one question, Raghu sir, coming back to you. Any ambition of making acquisitions in any particular segment which you are thinking that this is missing from my portfolio?
No, I would. We would definitely look at acquisitions, increasing the bouquet of services or the portfolio only in the business services space, and mainly it could be in the sales enablement space. So that's this thing we want to concentrate and focus. We don't want to do kind of service which we don't understand. We want to do
Right.
what we understand. So it will be in the business services space, always B2B and always asset light. These are the ground rules.
And any plans to expand overseas into facilities management, or India is still a huge market to capture?
India is itself is a huge market, so we don't have any ambition to go outside India for facilities management. But for technology-driven one, we may go outside of India. But nothing
Right,
to do for
makes sense.
facilities management is people, so we want to do it only in
Absolutely,
India.
because that again is asset light, so it helps you stay nimble and expand faster.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think with that, we perhaps come to the end of this conversation. Thank you, gentlemen, for helping us understand the business. Has various facets. It has taken many years for you to really build this business, and now actually it is expanding with its own branches geographically. You're soon going to become a listed company. So, from our viewers, from our side, we extend all the best wishes to you for a very successful IPO and then a successful listed journey. And we'll again connect with you after some time.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. It's been my
Thanks.
pleasure. Yeah.
And dear viewers, that brings us to the end of this conversation. Hope you enjoyed it.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the bell icon to never miss an update from Nirmal Bang.